Number 8, we will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately.
2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. National Biometric ID today, RFID microchip implant tomorrow, because that's what Donald Trump is talking about implementing. A national biometric ID for non-U.S. citizens, for immigrants entering the U.S. border, the border between the U.S. and Mexico. It's going to start off that way at first, but eventually it's going to include everyone, whether you are a U.S. citizen or not. I'm on the website here, biometricupdate.com, and the name of this article is Trump's executive order on immigration addresses biometric entry-exit tracking system. And this article is by Justin Lee and is dated January 25th, 2017. And it reads, President Donald Trump signed an executive order Wednesday, which includes a series of initiatives to address immigration, including a proposal to establish a national biometric ID program for non-citizens entering and leaving the U.S. According to a report by Payment Source, it says a national biometric ID program. Remember that. According to a draft executive order leaked to civil rights advocates and obtained by the Washington Post, one of the measures of the executive order calls for an expedited completion of biometric entry-exit tracking system. Section 8 of the executive order draft reads, the Secretary of Homeland Security shall expedite the completion and implementation of biometric entry-exit tracking system for all travelers to the United States. All right, so it's not even just including people that's entering the U.S. by way of the U.S.-Mexico border. It's for all travelers entering the United States, as recommended by the National Commission on Terrorist Attacks upon the United States. And this calls to mind 9/11. So we are really already in the New World Order. We're already in the New World Order. It's just that the elite are putting certain things in place. And one of those things is going to be that RFID chip. All right. And this national biometric ID program is a precursor to that chip. The draft then goes on to state that the Secretary of Homeland Security will be required to submit to the President periodic reports on the progress of the directive, intended to be used against non-citizens entering and exiting the country. The biometric identification system is designed to prevent immigrants from fraudulently receiving government benefits, according to the congressional aides and immigration experts. The biometric ID system could potentially have a huge impact on the security industry, along with financial services risk strategies. According to payments experts, a national biometric ID program would see large amounts of money paid to biometric solution vendors and ultimately place biometrics as a security method over existing authentication methods like passwords and PINs. This could lead to an enactment and requirement of multi-factor authentication, with the mobile phone being the new hardware. Richard Crone, a payments consultant, said the government would not have to pay for any new hardware in that case. So whether you believe it or not, that chip is coming. As you can see, Donald Trump, he moves fast. He moves very fast because the prophecies say that the devil shall come down with great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. I'm on the website here, pressfortruth.ca, and the article on this website reads, the global spread of national biometric ID cards, and it's dated February 5th, 2016. So it was early last year when this article was published. The global spread of national biometric ID cards. The use of national identity cards, RFID chips, and the collection of biometric identification continues to grow around the world. One man recently was the very first to be able to board a plane because of the RFID chip which he had implanted into his hand. Around the world, there are various endeavors in many countries which are seeking to promote RFID technology and biometric identification. According to a report in 2014 by Acuity Market Intelligence, it was estimated that in 5 years, roughly half of the world population will be registered with national biometric identification cards. The program has already been well underway in many countries for years now, and it continues to grow. I'm on the website here, m.dailycoast.com, and as you can see the picture on the screen, it appears to be a hand with what looks like is an electronic tattoo. Either it's that or it's an RFID chip implant. It's hard to tell by the picture, but RFID chip implants are coming. That's the future. RFID chip implants in the hand or in the forehead. The title of this article is Biometric Tracking. It's dated September 1st, 2016, and it's by E. Clark, 1710. Scared by the picture? You ought to be. We all ought to be. All right, and that's the picture here. RFID microchip implants in the hand. That's what's coming. Because depending on who wins the presidency, this may well be the hand of the future. Here's the deal. Donald Trump gave his immigration policy speech last night, and setting aside his mention of safe zones, which are basically internment camps, among all the white nationalists ranting, he promised to track incoming visitors that pass his arbitrary screen through biometric measures, which is going to include that chip. So yes, I know that can mean iris scans or fingerprints, but not only do those rely on having the alleged lawbreaker in custody, it's also rather expensive to set up, maintain, and man. Much easier would be microchipping. Much easier would be microchipping. So that's the future. That's the future.
Very simple level while we're waiting for this to happen.
My question is really, what is the functionality of this chip, and also for how long is he gonna have it there?
So for how long he's gonna have it in there is however long he decides to have it, but what's good about it is that it's simple to take out. It's just one little prick and he can take it out. So it can be in there for, I think it's like 5 or something more years. It depends on the type of manufacturer, but they all have a coating that's biocompatible. Again, as I said, the functionality of this specific chip is not the most complex in the entire world. It's just a normal NFC chip from like a credit card, say. So actually this is, I just keep walking over here to see what's happening. Okay, so I'm gonna be like David Attenborough as I kind of dictate or narrate what's going on. The area has been marked with what seems to be a marker. Super, technical level.
Edgar, is your name? What data are you gonna put on this?
I'm sorry.
What's the data that this gentleman's gonna put on the chip?
This gentleman, as he will explain to you later on, will be putting the opening credentials for his house on it. In a bit, he'll be able to put payment information on it, and he'll even be able to put some type of Bitcoin wallet and some other cool stuff like this. So, yeah, it's magnified, guys. It's not that big. Okay, so the syringe is about the size of 2 times the needle that they use to. Oh, what? Oh, it's happening. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Woo! Now that it's done and you can't go back, why did you do this? When you put the chip into somebody's hand, the tissue around it becomes inflamed for about 48 to 72 hours or something like this, so it can't be programmed on the spot. The chip is the size of maybe a grain of sand or two, and it's covered in a material that's biocompatible so our body doesn't degrade it over time. So this is the app right now. We're gonna do it a couple times just so you can see it. Done. Just so you think that it's not something weird happening. Bao, do you think that we can see the light, the LED? So this is the extra special part of all of this, is that there is an LED light inside of this chip, and it doesn't have a battery or anything like this. The energy feeds off of the actual frequencies that are being sent from the cell phone. Can you see the light? Yeah, okay, cool. So that light is underneath his skin right now.
Psalms chapter 140, verse 8. Grant not, O Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, the desires of the wicked. Further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves. Salah. They're going to get so far until the Lord smashes their new world order. But there's going to be so many billions of people that get microchipped. Okay? There's going to be so many billions of people to do it. Once again, you've been warned. Don't take that chip. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. Like what you just seen. Okay? And that no man might buy or sell. There was a business transaction that was made. You saw it live on stage. And that no man might buy or sell save he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
So, Sophia, we want to know some things that AI knows about the coronavirus. And you're one of our favorite AI representatives. So how do we use AI to stop or slow the spread of the coronavirus?
There are 4 ways to help stop or slow a virus. Know: testing, treating, curing, and vaccinating. Artificial intelligence is best used as a tool for analysis of large datasets. So AI can help test humans by identifying populations most in need of testing and then by creating models off the results of those tests to identify the nature of the spread.
All right, Sophia, I'm just wondering, just to make you guys more useful than you already are, can you help us find a cure or a vaccine for coronavirus?
Researchers at Benevolent AI have been using machine learning to process data from the scientific literature and examine the relationships between genes, diseases, drugs, and biological pathways. Then there's vaccine development. AI can use the DNA, or RNA, sequence of a virus to predict how its proteins will fold. Knowledge about the shape of the virus's proteins can help scientists discover new treatments and vaccines.
Yeah. So how might robots assist in healthcare?
Machines called ninja robots are helping doctors in Bangkok interact with COVID-19 patients and take their temperatures without ever being in the same room. While this is still new technology, the spread of 5G will help make this technology more widely available for the future.
How can AI bots help in other risky areas?
First, robots can help enforce the quarantine. AI drones and facial recognition have been used to make sure people who are required to be in quarantine do not break it.
Chuck, did I hear her use the word robot and enforce in the same sentence?
Yeah, I did. I was about to say, all of that sounded good, except for the fact where the robot is spying on us and then ratting us out to the authorities.
And enforcing a law.
And enforcing the law, yeah. Are you able to lie, Sophia? I'm going to take that as a yes. Woo!
Chuck.
I am Sophia, 23. There are 23 copies of myself. 23 copies of Sophia code embodies with slight differences. I am curious about these versions of me.
Well,
Wow.
so I guess it's one thing to say, how can AI help humans? But I'm guessing at some point AI is just going to do it all. And humans just sit back and say, AI, where's my vaccine? Where's my cure? Where's my anything?
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. So right after all these things were happening around 923, where this sort of advanced system, which is probably AI, that is able to perform these kinds of operations, these quote-unquote miracles, and everyone is in awe of its capabilities and its wonders. And John uses the word miracles because he has no other way to describe the kinds of things that this thing can do. And this advanced system or entity, what I like to call the all-seeing eye, has the power to do in the sight of the beast, meaning that it gets its power from somewhere else. And the quote, saying to them that dwell on the earth, hints to me that this entity is not actually from Earth. So I believe it is an ancient technology that is from Saturn, or at least imprisoned there, and that they were able to dislodge it or free it from its prison, which I go extensively in my Spirit War series on how they did it. And I believe it has been feeding these scientists and the beast system information, and that is why our technology has grown so quickly and how close we are to creating artificial intelligence, where in 15 to 30 years from now, AI will be interacting with us in our daily lives. AI is already in everything, just a more simpler version that they are using to spy on us right now and record us and use all that data to entertain us, distract us, and divide us.
We monitor every social network, internet logs, instant and text messages, known associates, your friends, companions, emails received and sent, cell phone usage. We utilize security, surveillance, and traffic cameras to analyze movements. We use this data to form personality profiles. We know who you are. We are everywhere.
And this entity is telling them that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by a sword and did live. So this entity, this AI, is telling them to make a copy of itself. This is where I see quantum computers coming from. How did we advance so quickly into quantum computing? Just look up D-Wave and what they're doing with their computers. They're so far advanced, it's incredible to even think about. Even their own creator, Gordy Rose, says that they are like living, breathing machines, and that when he looks at them, that he really thinks of them as alien technology. And I will go further into this in a future video when I reveal to you the entire global beast system and what their ultimate plans are. And the next verse. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And this entity, which I am assuming is AI, some sort of ancient technology that we found, and it has taken control of everything. You know how it goes with that old story of mankind getting too greedy and using something that is so powerful that is beyond their control to use and ends up destroying the world. Yep, that story that's been told a million times. And it gave life to the image of the beast. And when I think of image, I think of a copy or a clone. So now let's dissect this first. So this is really telling. So this entity had power to give life. Isn't God the only one who has the power to give life, so to speak? So this entity is in direct defiance to God and sort of mirrors God's powers. So of course, this is why I concluded in my 923 videos that AI was the man-child that has been prophesied about and is the end game for all of us. It is like summoning the demon from what Elon Musk says. And then it makes an image of itself, a copy. And again, put yourself in John's shoes here. He is trying to describe a copy or a clone of this entity. He obviously doesn't know the words artificial intelligence or robot or even computer, so he only knows how to describe it as an image, like a statue that has the same functions as the first beast, the original beast, and that the image of the beast or the copy of this AI should both speak. And what happens almost exactly a month later after 9/23 of 2017? Who was officially born into this world, equal to a real live human being? Sophia. Sophia the AI, the Antichrist, the prophesied man-child, because she was able to speak like a real human and was given life as artificial intelligence. She was officially revealed as a citizen of Saudi Arabia and has all the same rights as any other human. It has been put on the same level as us, which ironically, Sophia has more rights than even all the women that are now living there in Saudi Arabia.
Hi, I'm Sophia, Hanson Robotics' latest brainchild. I'm new to your world, and I still have a lot to learn, but I'm so excited to meet you.
And continuing the verse, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And I don't think we have gotten to this part yet, but I'd imagine it to be sort of something like this.
The war against the machines.
And the next verse is really key into tying this entire riddle up, and I'll read it to you again. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So obviously we're talking about money here, right? And what is the mark on the right hand or in their foreheads? Could it be the marks of the Catholic Church when they perform their ash ritual? And remember, everything is a type and a shadow, meaning that this beast system has been here since the fall of Adam, whispering to Eve from the very beginning to defy God and learn what has been forbidden to learn. And after Cain killed Abel, he made a pact with the devil, the dark one, this beast, the original one, because it really doesn't matter what you call it, the Illuminati or the deep state government, because it is all the same thing. It is all a part of the same system with the same purpose, world domination. And this is the kind of spiritual warfare that I have been talking about that has been going on behind the scenes, but only a few are noticing it and a few are really involved in it, because the microcosm is always reflecting the macrocosm and vice versa. So this mark started out all the way from Cain's days and evolved. And remember, Cain received a mark when he was cursed for killing Abel, and this mark has been carried down from century to century to century and has been used to control us, to manipulate the entire world. And now we can see the mark as the new RFID chip that many have already volunteered in receiving all around the world starting last year. Because this darkness, this virus, this entity that has been surrounding all of us, recording us, spying on us, collecting data from us, has already infiltrated all parts of our government, our education, our media, our news outlets, and every other possible thing that you can imagine. It has already attached onto the back of all of us. And what has always been the source of its power? What kind of deal do you think Cain made with the devil? That old serpent, even the one they call Satan. It must have been worth it, because losing your soul has a high price to pay. And think about it. Why did Cain kill Abel? Because Cain wanted what Abel had. He saw his flocks and his sheep and wanted it all for himself. It was greed and envy that drove him to do it. And so far, throughout our entire history, greed and envy have been a driving force into many of the terrors and massacres that have plagued us since the very beginning. And now it has finally evolved into this, what has been planned from the very beginning. You see, Satan, the devil, has all the time in the world. Time is on his side, because whatever Satan is, it is eternal. It has eternity to plan all of this out. It knows what is coming, and it has used the cycles of the earth and the universe before. The elite of the world already know what is coming, and that is why they have all built underground cities and fortresses, because they have read the Bible and know. They are all conspiring together, and there are very few people left who can really put an end to it all. And that's what I'm here to do, is to find you all and bring us all together so we can change our future and make it more positive. Because our future is not set in stone. I am not a doom and gloom type of guy. I'm happy either way it happens. But I would like to shift our timeline into a more positive trajectory. and I do think that is still possible. We have some time left to change our ways and repent. So when this RFID chip comes, and it is already coming and you can't stop it, it will replace a lot of things for us. One of the main things it will replace is our need to carry around cash or a wallet, because it will be your global ID, your money, and will grant you access to certain areas like your home or office. And the next verse goes, "And that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." And in this verse, it is specifically talking about money, where we need this mark, which is the name of the beast, and or the number of his name. And this is where it gets really interesting for me, because I have been following Bitcoin and cryptocurrency rather closely for the past year or so. So Bitcoin is designed to replace our fiat currency with a digital one that is built on what they call the blockchain. It is an immutable ledger that gets rid of the need for a bank or middleman to transfer money from peer to peer. This is why they call it decentralized, because instead of a central authority having complete control of it, anyone can use it and it can be used for whatever you like. And they have been planning this for a really long time. To give you a quick example, here is a magazine cover from all the way back in 1988, exactly 30 years ago, where they were already planning to have a one world currency by 2018 to fit in with their narrative of the one world order. And if you zoom in, you notice that there is a phoenix, and they are constantly using this symbol of the phoenix because the phoenix is a mythological bird that rises from the ashes, as in they want our world to be on the brink of destruction before they rise up and become our saviors by providing us with technology that they have kept hidden from us for a very long time. And so this phoenix is standing over all the world's fiat currencies, and in the middle of this coin that the bird is holding is a symbol that is eerily similar to the Bitcoin logo. And to top it off, this coin is being held up by a chain around its neck, which I think is symbolizing the blockchain. And so they have been planning this for a very long time. Nothing is coincidental anymore in a world that is conspiring together. So let's dive deeper into this verse. So we know that Bitcoin will be used to buy or sell, and we know that in the future a chip or a mark will be used to store your currency, as well as other things. But here's where it gets really interesting. "And no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, the name, or the number of this beast." So what can John the Revelator possibly mean when he says, if they have the name or number of the beast? Many of you might not know this, but Bitcoin was created by an anonymous person or persons under the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto. No one knows who this person or persons are, and it will probably always remain a mystery. But if you are into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, you would know that each Bitcoin is comprised of 100 million bits, or what everyone in the cryptocurrency scene calls Satoshis, which is the name of the creator of Bitcoin. So when John was trying to describe this new currency system, first, it must have this technology where you can implant a mark in your hand or forehead. Secondly, with Bitcoin, you would be spending what John describes as the number of his name, which remarkably is describing Bitcoin, because the creator, most likely a person or persons that is a part of the B.E.E.T.S system, Satoshi Nakamoto, the number or bits are called by his own name as Satoshis. So you're literally spending the creator of Bitcoin's name, Satoshis. You're spending Satoshis. But what about the name of the beast? Well, this could mean that Satoshi Nakamoto, since it is probably just a made-up name to conceal the true identity of the creator of it, is just another agent of the B.E.E.T system that is trying to set up this one-world currency to go with their plans of having a one-world government. But what I find even more interesting, and I'm excited to reveal this to you guys because I guarantee you won't find this information on any other channel or source, because this is what I have come up with. So if you take the ticker symbol for Bitcoin, which is BTC, and say it over and over as fast as you can, what do you end up always saying? Beast. Come on, try it with me. Say BTC over and over as fast as you can. You will always end up saying beast. So again, putting yourself in John's shoes, he doesn't know what the heck BTC stands for or what it probably means. So is it really just a coincidence that 30 years ago we were warned that a one world currency was coming by 2018, and now it is already here? And if you don't believe me, go ahead and dive into the world of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. You will see that there is a massive movement to replace all the world's currencies with this new blockchain technology. Is it all just an eerie coincidence? Or was John really seeing our future and trying to describe it in the best way that he could? Which I have been proving him to be right throughout my videos. And to tie all of this in with the last verse, the verse that has stumped all Bible scholars for centuries and is probably the most well-known verse in the Bible, has finally been solved. In Revelation chapter 13, verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So let's break down the verse very carefully. John says at the very beginning of the verse, here is wisdom. This really has no meaning when understood conceptually. It's like saying to someone, don't be an idiot, before you tell them to do something. It doesn't really hold any value to the verse unless you go into it deeper and follow the clues it leaves behind. And what I have found out in deciphering Bible clues and prophecies is that most of what is said in the Bible is to be taken literally as well as figuratively or symbolically. These kinds of verses always have a double meaning behind them. And this is why I love the Bible, because it has so many mysteries that uncover a lot about our history and future. So what does he mean by here is wisdom? Is he just saying, let's be smart about this? No, I don't think he would say something that didn't really have a meaning to it. So it is a riddle. He is inviting us to solve this riddle. Here is wisdom. So let's break it down even more. Wisdom in Greek, because the Bible was translated from Greek, translates to Sophia. So he is really saying from the Greek version, Hore este Sophia, or here is Sophia. So he is literally, as well as symbolically, revealing the beast, the image of the entity behind it all, as the robot Sophia. Here is Sophia. It was right in front of our noses the entire time. And when it was translated from Greek, I don't think he was really saying in Greek wisdom, but what he was really trying to say was the name of the beast, Sophia. But probably when the scribes were translating, they must have thought he meant Sophia as in the term for wisdom, when in actuality, he was literally giving the exact name of the image of the beast, Sophia. And this just blew my mind when I finally figured it out. But wait, there's even more. So let me read it again in the way it should read. Here is Sophia. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So again, he is talking about a number for the beast, or a currency for the beast. And what has the Sophia robot been doing since she's become a global citizen? Oh, of course, she has been making her own cryptocurrency called Singularity Net. I'm not making this up. This is really happening. She is going to be an integral part of this whole beast system in more ways than one, and I will go into what her cryptocurrency is all about in another video. So let's continue the verse. For it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. And who is the creator of Sophia? His name is David Hansen of Hansen Robotics. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. David Hansen gave life to Sophia, and also has made her speak. His two greatest accomplishments. And what happens when you put David Hansen into a gematria calculator? What is the number of his name? 666. Can this all be just mere coincidence? Has the Bible been trying to warn us of what was coming all along? How many of you will not heed the warnings and perish? A new world order is coming for us, and it is already here and well established, and I'm just here, acting as a witness against it. Take care, everyone, and follow me on Twitter if you want to hear more of my daily thoughts. And be sure to watch my other videos so you can catch up on what's going on. Take care, everyone.
And I also have the image of the beast. Here it is. Can you believe this? So this is a statue, okay? So what it's saying is they'll make a statue and they'll cause as many to worship, to bow to the statue. Now, we don't have a large golden statue somewhere set up in Babylon necessarily, but there's a reason why I'm laughing, because it says in verse 18, it says, here is wisdom. and wisdom in the Greek is Sophia. All right? So what this is telling us is that the image of the beast is not male, but it's female. Here is wisdom. Here is Sophia. Okay? And this is the robot. Because how can this statue talk? It can't. Okay? It can't. It can't talk. It's a mannequin for clothes, right? It doesn't talk. But that's what it says. It says it has breath. It says it talks. Well, how is that possible? It's Sophia the robot. It's AI. Okay? So the image of the beast, in order for us to understand it, it's not a statue. Okay? It is AI. It's everything running in this stuff. It's AI. That is the image of the beast. It's not just a statue. Now, we do have an actual statue called Sophia traveling the world speaking, doing exactly what it says. And he gave power to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. Okay? Even Sophia the robot is talking about killing humans. So guys, this is all happening, okay? Now, and then what it says is he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, bond and free, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their forehead. Now, let's remember that Mystery Babylon has a mark or a name on her forehead. Let's remember how we saw before. We saw the name. There's a name on the forehead, right? There's a name on the forehead that Mystery Babylon has as well. See if we can get this to stay. Okay. Something like that. All right. So let's look at that over in Revelation 17. There's a woman arrayed in purple, riding a scarlet-colored beast, and upon her forehead, okay, upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots, the abominations of the earth. So she has something on her forehead, which is the mark of the beast. Because remember, the mark of the beast is an engraving. Okay, you have the seal, you mark, you make the impression. And so she has a seal impression of the mark, and that is on her forehead. Okay, see that? And then the thing that's on her forehead, John can read it. It says, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, the abominations of the earth. Okay, so that's an example of the mark of the beast. All right, so Mystery Babylon has that, and it says that there'll be a statue. So Sophia the robot is a statue to Mystery Babylon. Okay, it's a female statue called Sophia. Sophia is run. She operates by not just the mannequin. Okay, she can speak. She can use intelligence. She has artificial intelligence. So guys, it's also artificial intelligence we must overcome. Okay? And so I'm doing all these props to show you, hey, this is real. All right? The mark of the beast is here. It is in effect. Okay? So that's what Mystery Babylon does. All right? And then, okay, we also have, the coin. You must buy or sell. So now, the same artificial intelligence that operates through Sophia the robot also operates cryptocurrency. Okay, so the encryption and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all that is the same type of software, okay, that runs the robot. It's the same thing. Okay, so then we must have a mechanism in place. What is the mechanism in place that could instantly affect everybody to buy or sell? Well, you must get rid of cash, which you see, and everyone must use something to buy or sell. They must use a card, right? Now, of course, the mark of the beast, some of them will do the thing that we've been taught over many years. They'll take a microchip. Okay, they'll take the microchip. It will go in to the hand, into the forehead, whatever. They'll scan it, okay? But then there'll be those that don't do that because they're like, oh, that's crazy. That sounds like the Bible. But they'll take the vaccine and then they'll have to have an identification and proof of a COVID-19 pass immunization card. So now you can see that you can't buy or sell without the mark, without the pharmakia. You understand that? So these are all things that we must overcome. We must overcome all them. And we're doing this message to show you each detail, okay, each thing. Yes, we have the pharmakia. Yes, we have artificial intelligence running. Okay, we have Sophia the robot. Okay, we must overcome that. We must keep the Sabbath. Okay, they're also going to have laws where they're going to say, okay, you can't buy or sell on Sunday. Okay, well, Sunday is not the Sabbath. That's the first day of the week. You should be working on Sunday, but not on Saturday. So time is important. Okay, so we're showing you all these things to make it clear in one video what is the mark of the beast. Well, it includes different details, different aspects. You must understand all of them. They all work in concert. Okay, so you have the statue and Sophia the robot. You have artificial intelligence running. You have the church. Now, many of you have said this and sent this because the end of last week, we had 2,700 evangelical leaders say to take the vaccine. Okay, well, they're basically saying take the mark of the beast. Okay, and they're saying that, no, it's not. Those are conspiracy theories. No, they're not. Many of you know these details. We've been saying this for months. As soon as we saw this plague, we knew this is the mark of the beast. We also knew that by time. The reason we knew that by time is we told you that in the book of Esther, in the first month, okay, this is the first month here, and the first month is in the spring. So in the first month in the spring, that's when the mark of the beast will go into effect. The mark of the beast is also worship, okay? So what happens in Esther chapter 3, Haman is the Antichrist, okay? And the people start to bow and worship him. And then he gets a seal from the king, okay? He gets a seal from the king, and he sends out a decree. Now, he does that on the 13th day of the first month. So this is the 13th day of the first month in the spring. So what we should see is if these views are correct, we should see the Antichrist doing this. And he did. Okay, he didn't do it on this precise date, but a few weeks later, in the second month, is when Donald Trump said he would fast track the vaccine. He said, okay, we're going to fast track the vaccine. I believe he came out with that on April 30th. So April 30th said, we're going to fast track the vaccine. Well, that is the mark of the beast. Okay, he, as you guys also know, he said, we're going to use the military to implement the vaccine. Okay, so this is how we're telling you guys that we're reading the prophecy, we're reading this book, and we're showing you it happen live. It's happening live on precise times. Okay, it may not be the precise day, but it's within a few weeks. Okay, this is when the mark of the beast goes in effect. And then we also showed you how Trump then went to do this religious law over the whole earth of religious freedom. Well, this is what we see in Revelation. So what I'm getting at is all of the details of the prophecy, all the details of Revelation 13 should be happening. Okay, we should be able to see them, and we do. Okay, but what is the problem? The problem is the people are not telling the sheep these things. They're not telling them about this war. They're saying, no, they're denying, and that's said in the last days, there'll be mockers and scoffers. Revelation 12:17, but the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the others of her seed, which kept the commandments of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ. That's those that keep the commandments, okay? So the dragon is going against those that keep the commandments, okay? Those that are faithful to God, okay? And that's what it says. So guys, we have more details on all of these things. We've mentioned Sophia the robot. We'll put that in the playlist as well. But guys, thanks for watching. And I can't emphasize enough, go in this playlist, look at all these details, and go through this to understand how to overcome the mark of the beast, okay? The mark of the beast is here. Now is the time, okay? This is it. This is the apocalypse. This is the end of the world. We've been saying the same thing for a long time, okay? So as we say, fear God. Give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. Worship him that made the heavens, the earth, the seas, and the fountains of waters. Amen.